Take a look at this map. Yellow warnings stretching from the west coast all the way to Atlantic Canada. This is not a quiet pattern, and this is not something you want to ignore. Canada is once again split into very different weather stories, but the common theme right now is impact. Whether it's snow, wind, extreme cold, or heavy rain, millions of people across the country are dealing with some form of hazardous weather as we move deeper into this active winter pattern. Let's start by setting the stage. We have cold Arctic air locked in across central and eastern Canada, while the Pacific continues to pump moisture and relatively warmer air into the west. When you put those two ingredients together, you get storms, warnings, and rapidly changing conditions, and that's exactly what we're seeing on this map. Starting in the west, British Columbia is once again under the influence of Pacific systems rolling in from the ocean. You can see active weather just offshore, and that's important because it tells us more rain and mountain snow are on the way. Coastal areas, including Vancouver Island and the lower mainland, are dealing with periods of rain, at times moderate to heavy. While temperatures here are much milder compared to the rest of the country, that doesn't mean the weather is harmless. Saturated ground, rising streams, and slick road conditions are ongoing concerns. As we move inland into the interior of British Columbia, that rain quickly transitions to snow, especially at higher elevations. Mountain passes can become treacherous in a hurry. Even a small shift in temperature can mean the difference between slushy roads and heavy accumulating snow. Travel through interior routes should be done with caution, especially overnight and early morning when temperatures drop just enough to cause rapid icing. Now looking northward into Yukon, that yellow warning zone tells a different story. This is about snow, wind, and reduced visibility. Snowfall here may not always be intense, but when combined with gusty winds and open terrain, it can lead to near whiteout conditions. Blizzard-like conditions are possible at times, particularly along highways and exposed routes. Temperatures remain well below freezing, so any snow that falls isn't going anywhere quickly. Moving east into Alberta, Saskatchewan, and Manitoba, this is where the cold really tightens its grip. Warnings here are largely driven by extreme cold and blowing snow. Even when snowfall amounts aren't massive, strong winds can pick up loose snow and create dangerous travel conditions. Wind chills in these regions can plunge deep into the -20s and 30s, making any exposure risky in a short amount of time. In Alberta, conditions vary sharply from south to north. Southern areas may see quieter weather at times, but northern sections remain vulnerable to snow and cold snaps. Saskatchewan and Manitoba are firmly entrenched in winter mode. Snow-covered roads, reduced visibility, and bitter cold are the main concerns. If you're driving long distances across the prairies, conditions can change very quickly, sometimes within just a few kilometers. Now let's shift our focus into Ontario, because this is one of the most active zones on the map. Southern Ontario, including the Toronto area, is highlighted for good reason. Even after historic snowfall earlier, the atmosphere hasn't settled down. Lingering snow bands, lake effect activity, and occasional systems passing through continue to bring periods of snow and reduced visibility. Lake Ontario remains a major player. Cold air flowing over the relatively warmer lake waters fuels snow bands that can park over the same areas for hours. Some communities see light flurries, while others just a short distance away are buried under heavy snow. That sharp contrast is one of the most frustrating and dangerous features of lake effect weather. Temperatures across Ontario stay well below seasonal averages. Daytime highs struggle to climb, and overnight lows allow snow and ice to remain firmly in place. This means untreated roads, sidewalks, and parking lots stay slick day after day. Cleanup efforts take longer, and the risk of accidents remains elevated. Moving northeast into Quebec, the warning zones expand again. Snowfall, blowing snow, and cold temperatures are all in play. Southern and central Quebec continue to see accumulating snow from passing systems, while northern areas remain bitterly cold. Winds add another layer of concern, especially in open areas where drifting snow can quickly block roads. The combination of snow and cold also puts stress on infrastructure. Vehicles can struggle to start, and mechanical issues become more common. Anyone traveling long distances should ensure they're prepared with winter survival essentials, because help may not arrive quickly in these conditions. Now let's talk about Atlantic Canada, because this is where the pattern becomes especially dynamic. Newfoundland and Labrador are clearly highlighted on the map, and that's due to ongoing and incoming snow combined with strong winds. Sea-effect snow bands continue to develop as cold air moves over open water, focusing heavier snowfall in localized areas. Northern Newfoundland is particularly vulnerable to heavier accumulations, while the Avalon Peninsula faces not just snow, but strong winds that can significantly reduce visibility. When snow is blowing sideways, it doesn't take much accumulation to make roads impassable. Travel conditions can deteriorate rapidly, even during daylight hours. Further south into Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, and Prince Edward Island, the impacts are more variable. Some areas are catching breaks between systems, while others are dealing with snow showers, gusty winds, and lingering cold. Even when snowfall totals aren't extreme, repeated rounds of snow keep roads slippery and conditions challenging. Now, looking ahead, this map also hints at what's coming next. The overall pattern remains very active. Cold Arctic air is firmly entrenched across eastern and central Canada, and that sets the stage for future storms to produce snow rather than rain. At the same time, the storm track remains active, meaning systems will continue to move along this boundary. One of the biggest questions going forward is timing and placement. Small changes in storm tracks can mean the difference between light snow and major snowfall. Coastal areas, especially in Atlantic Canada, will need to closely monitor the potential for stronger systems that could bring heavier snow, stronger winds, and possibly blizzard conditions. In the west, the Pacific storm train shows no signs of shutting down. That means more rain for coastal British Columbia, more mountain snow, and continued concerns for travel and flooding in vulnerable areas. Snow levels will fluctuate, but high-elevation snowpack will continue to build. For the prairies and central Canada, cold remains the dominant story. While there may be brief moderations, there's no sustained warm-up in sight. Any new snow that falls will accumulate on top of what's already there, maintaining winter hazards well into the coming days. So what does all of this mean for you? It means staying informed is critical. Weather warnings are in place for a reason, and conditions can change quickly. If you're planning to travel, check forecasts frequently. If you're dealing with snow removal, pace yourself and watch for signs of cold stress. And if you're in an area facing heavy rain or strong winds, secure loose items and be prepared for possible disruptions. This is one of those weeks where winter reminds us who's in charge. From coast to coast, Canada is dealing with powerful forces of nature, and the warning map tells that story clearly. The key is preparation, awareness, and respect for the conditions. If you want continued updates as this active pattern evolves, make sure you stay connected. More systems are on the way, and we'll be tracking every shift, every warning, and every major impact so you're not caught off guard. If this forecast helped you understand what's happening across the country, don't forget to support the channel. Subscribe for ongoing coverage, and turn on notifications so you never miss an update, because in a pattern like this, the next storm is never far away. Stay safe, stay warm, and I'll see you in the next update.